I'd like someone to make a motion to dispense with the regular meeting law.
So make a motion, we dispense with the regular meeting.
Then a second? All in favor? I'd like to welcome everyone to the Second Ward Democratic Club 1992 primary candidate night. Craig Eckleberg is going to be our message journalist.
The Second Ward Democratic Club has a tradition of hosting a candidates night before every primary and general election, and they invite all the Democratic candidates that stand for election that year. I'll read a copy of the letter that went out to all the Democratic candidates. Dear Democratic candidate, you are cordially invited to attend our 1992 primary election candidates night. All Democratic county and Elizabeth municipal candidates have been invited, but due to the large number of candidates this year, of which there are 35, it becomes necessary to set special rules and time limitations to ensure fairness while accommodating all the candidates. Should you choose to participate, we request and anticipate your understanding and cooperation. 1. The bylaws of the Second Ward Democratic Club of Elizabeth prohibit endorsements in the primary election. Therefore, no endorsements will be made or entertained. 2. Because there are so many candidates this year and the meeting room is small, we have scheduled the time of the candidates by office sort as follows. 8 to 9 p.m. Congressional and county candidates, 1.5 minutes each. 9 to 10 p.m. mayoral candidates, 5 minutes each. City council candidates, 2.5 minutes each. 3. Again, because we anticipate a crowded room with standing room only, we request that you limit your campaign traveling companions to one other person. Speaking time allotments are for candidate presentations only. No questions of candidates by other candidates or from the floor will be permitted. Candidates are encouraged to meet and speak individually with club members after the meeting. Candidates who cannot attend may send a surrogate speaker, but please notify us in advance. We are sure that you will agree that this format will serve the interests of the candidates in the club by ensuring that we can accommodate all the candidates and the club members on the same night. We also were graced that I believe the News Tribune is covering this meeting, and there was a reporter said they were coming, and this gentleman has cordially donating his services. This tape will be played on CATV, the local cable channel in Elizabeth, I believe up to maybe 3 times. So it's great, excellent exposure for the candidates. Now I'm gonna call upon the congressional candidates first. Since we are flexible, I'm going to keep time, and when I call the time, that doesn't mean you have to end. You'll still be allowed an additional minute in which to present your summation. So it's just actually a minder to wrap up and engage in summation. The first candidate I'd like to call sent a surrogate speaker who has other commitments tonight, so I'm going to call upon him first. This year, due to the new census, there's been congressional redistricting. Elizabeth is in 2 new congressional districts, and there are a number of candidates in both of these districts. In the 13th congressional district, which encompasses parts of Hudson County, Essex, Union, and Middlesex County, Robert Menendez, the mayor of Union City and a state senator from Hudson County, is a candidate. He could not be with us this evening, but he has sent us his surrogate speaker, a man who, if I was a candidate, you couldn't pick a better surrogate speaker than the man he has chosen. The man who will be recognized by all of us. He served us in the Assembly for 20 years, representing Elizabeth, and he's well known and well liked to all of us, and he has the distinguished reputation as having been known as one of the most outstanding members who have ever served in the New Jersey legislature, Tom Devin.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Now, I've been coming here now for 20 years as a talking for myself. And you know, with the redistricting, the 13th district is now part of Elizabeth, Perth Amboy, Fort Reading, Seawarren, Carteret, Linden, Elizabeth, Mayo, Jersey City, West New York, and Union City. I made it half the stuff. That's all you have to do. But you know, Elizabeth has always had a great congressman, Matty Ronaldo. And there's so much going on in this world. so much going on in this country that it's very important that you pick the right person to represent you in Washington. So important. And then Bobby Menendez. I spent 10 years in the Assembly with him. He is a state senator. He's a young lawyer. Immigrant parents. He came to this country from another country. He has made himself a very bright young man, very conscious of what's going on. And one of his prime things in life are to make sure that the cities are well taken care of. As the mayor of Union City, he understands the problem. But one of the surveys taken by his group and by our group, when we asked of all the people in the 13th district, what is your biggest problem? We were surprised, and not surprised as most people would be, that aid to the cities was first, and the economy was second. But the thing they're most worried about, my dear friends, are health care. The matter that this country, this great country, the richest, smartest country in the world, can't find a solution to the health care problem. That if you're very poor in America, health care is something you have in Medicaid and welfare. If you're very rich, you can take care of yourself. But if you're caught in the middle of those two places, there is nothing more damaging to you and I and to our children than the cost of health care. You can be wiped out, not by a catastrophic illness anymore, but by a minor illness you could be wiped out. So one of Bobby's biggest things, one of his biggest points that he's fighting for, and that's why he wants to go to Washington so badly, is to get some kind of solution to the health care problem. And that's one of his big points. So if you vote for Bobby for Congress, you're going to do a good thing for yourself and for the city. Elizabeth has always been one of my favorite towns. In fact, when I retire, I'm going to move to Elizabeth. Applegate don't know, but I'm going to live with him. So. And I've always left this town with a good feeling, and I want to leave this town again that way. I thought when I got out of the Assembly last year that I would retire. But when you meet somebody like Bobby, you just want to go out and work for him, and that's what I want to do. So, Greg, I appreciate you letting us come here. I appreciate talking for Bobby, and I trust, my dear friend, that you all give a strong turnout and good vote. Thank you very much. Okay. Greg, thank you, Greg.
Thank you. Tom's going to go to represent Bob Menendez and other affairs, but some of the candidates who remain behind can speak to the candidates as they're here. There'll be refreshments at the end of the meeting. Keeping with the congressional races, I'd like to, as I see he's here, I'd like to call upon an Elizabeth native who's running in the 10th Congressional District, which is parts of Newark. Newark, Elizabeth,
Linden,
Linden,
Maplewood,
Bayonne,
Jersey City. All aboard.
Stan Moskal. Stan.
I want to thank you for the opportunity of having me here today. For a minute I thought Tom was talking about me because I come from immigrant parents, and I am a first generation young Polak who's been brought up in Elizabeth, primarily down at Fort, now advancing up to the Elmore area. And I'm here to talk about myself and why I'm running. I think why I'm running, and not that I'm thinking about it, I know why I'm running. I'm running because I'm angry at what appeared in the press of the Star Ledger on the 5th of March, when 7 people, 7 leaders of our party and that of the opposition, met in a hotel room behind closed doors and decided how they were going to dissect Elizabeth. They said amongst themselves that Elizabeth will be divided. They divided the spoils among themselves. And what they did was they established the 10th Congressional District that disenfranchised us from Union County and now made us part of Newark and Essex County. And down here, they took your part of the ward and they made it part of Jersey City and Hudson County. Well, that angered the hell out of me. And I decided right then and there on what to my friend Bob Jasmine was running for mayor, and on whose ticket I'm running. I said, Bob, I said, I'm not putting up with this. I'm running for Congress. It's a long shot, but I'm going to run. And I'm running because I'm angry. And as I toured the ward, there was more to the issue than just medical care that Tom spoke about. There's people who are out of jobs, who are wondering when this economy is going to get going. When are they going to share in the American dream? When are they going to be part of this great America that Congress is playing around with? When is Congress going to start supporting the majority of people and not the minority of people? The minorities I'm talking about are the PAC organizations. A small group of people that come to the congressman, and the hell with you, it's what they want that passes and runs through the congressional process. Well, if that's what you want, you better continue with the guy you got. But if you don't want that, I urge you to support me and my candidacy. Send a message to the leadership of the Democratic Party that you don't want to take this anymore. If you don't tell them now, they'll go hell's bells any which way they want. So I'm telling you, there's a red light flashing. A red light is flashing among the electorate of this city. They're mad. The party is divided already in this city. There's 3 races for the mayoralty. Do you want it to continue that way? Well, if you don't, vote for me. Show the leadership that you're concerned. And I promise you, if elected, I won't write one rubber check. Thank you.
Is there any other congressional candidates or their surrogates in the room? Brian? Brian Connors. Brian Connors is a candidate in the 10th district. Brian?
Thank you, everyone. This is my first congressional speech. The mayor of Elizabeth, Tom Dunn, I'm sure you all know him, called me into his office on April Fool's Day and said, this may sound a little strange to you, but I'd like you to run for Congress. And I broke out laughing. I thought he was kidding. And then I realized he was serious. And I was born and raised in Elizabeth. I grew up in Elmore. And never had any political aspirations. Never dreamed of becoming a politician. Never thought I was going to get the opportunity. And then as I sat there, I began to consider his offer. And I thought, this is an opportunity to do something. Many times we all sit there and we see what's going on in Congress, we see what's going on in government, and we say, boy, if I was in there, I could do something. And dreams like that started to come into my head. When I got there, when I was in the mayor's office, he knew a lot about me. He knew where I went to school. I went to Rutgers. He knew that I'd been an actor for 15 years. And I know a lot of people make the association with Ronald Reagan and things like that. I don't want to be associated in any way with him. We're acting in terms of faking it as a politician. The other thing that the mayor knew about me was my business experience. I went to work 4 years ago with a guy from Elizabeth that I went to Rutgers with. His name was Joe Devin. He grew up in the Westminster section. And Joe Devin worked for Dun & Bradstreet, which is a major financial information company. Like when you and I go to get a car or a house, someone gets a TRW report on us. When business does business with each other, they get Dun & Bradstreet reports. Dun & Bradstreet's one of the oldest and most respected companies in this country. They've been in business 150 years. Abraham Lincoln worked for Dun & Bradstreet, where they were overbilling and overcharging their clients big time. And a guy from Elizabeth, Joe Davidaski, stood up to them and said, this has got to stop. It hit the front page of the Wall Street Journal. I gave the story to people at ABC News, who gave it to 2020. It became a national news story in 2020. And I saw that a little guy from Elizabeth could stand up to a major giant corporation and change things. And they had to pay back $18 million, and even that was a slap on the wrist. But they had to pay back $18 million, and now they have to conduct their business a lot more honestly and a lot more openly. I see the same thing going on in government with the, we joke about it, but this check bouncing scandal, the SNL bailout, Congress voting themselves a raise, they travel. Now, our representative is going to be paying, and actually he's not a bad guy, he's not one of the worst. He only bounced 6 checks. But he voted himself a pay raise, and he travels extensively on the taxpayer's budget. He goes to Africa, he goes to the Caribbean, he goes to Haiti. But what's he doing for this district? And now he's going to be our congressman. So I promise you, if I get in there, I'm not an experienced politician. I'm just grew up from Elizabeth. I'm just an Elizabeth guy like you folks right here. But I promise you, if I get in there, I will stop waste, and I will buck the status quo, and I will challenge big business and make them be honest. And I'll do the best I can. Thank you very much.